Welcome to the Jump Off Point. I am Sly.
And I am literally Spook Robinson.
And we have another Before the Jump segment. We have just watched the trailer for Lost in Space.
The Netflix reimagining.
Yep. Spook and I are massive fans of the original. Chief has never seen the original, so
We chose not to invite him tonight.
Yep. He's
Get out of here, Chief!
He's lost on Alpha Centauri. Spook, your thoughts about the trailer, teaser trailer for Lost in Space?
Not a lot you can interpret about this series that you see in this Netflix trailer. They're at least capturing the same characters. We haven't seen Major
Don.
West. We hear the robot. We know Parker Posey is playing Dr. Smith. I'm ambivalent about that. However, you've got to give everyone a chance. But at least stylistically, it looks like it's the same as what we had. I imagine it's going to be a modern reimagining, which is fine. So it should be. I mean, there's a lot of campiness. First season of the original Lost in Space, very dark, good.
Serious science fiction.
For the time. So maybe if it goes back to those roots, it could be a handy little show. Yeah, your thoughts?
I felt the trailer had a huge Interstellar vibe. They're going off to find some corn.
Was there an ATM machine that was walking along?
Well, that's the robot who will appear later. Actually, some of the actors in it I'm really massive fans of. Toby Stevens from Black Sails.
Yep,
Fantastic. I really like Molly Parker from Deadwood. Parker Posey, really like her. I think if someone can pull off the Dr. Smith, I'm not saying if a woman can pull it off. I'm saying any actor. If another actor can pull off that Dr. Smith incarnation, I actually think it could be her. She could do a really great job. The other actors who play Will and Penny and Judy, I don't really know at all. The query is what you've just actually cited. The first season of the original series is very serious sci-fi, and then it grows progressively campy.
Which is just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
Then Batman from 1966 had a lot to answer for with that.
And it's just curious, okay, which way are they going to go? And then you have the original question of, could the original series survive if it remained serious the way it was? Would have become the cult classic that it has?
No.
It probably would have died, and this is going to be the problem. Can they really reimagine the campy? No, they can't pull it off.
I don't think you'd really want to go down that path.
But that's the thing. But that's what made the original popular.
Yeah, to a point. I mean, I'm a massive fan of the first season. I thought it was great. And I look, growing up here in Australia, and the emergence of colour TV pretty much put that first season to the death knell. We didn't get to see it as kids.
No.
Up until I think when it came out on VHS. So it was
VHS. What is this technology you speak of?
I think it surpassed Betamax.
Video.
Or we could argue about the merits of either. But when I did finally see it, it really took me by surprise. So I'm hoping with that in mind that this will take me by surprise as well. So I'm holding out a little bit of hope that it could be an entertaining series if done well.
Yeah, I'm really curious what direction they'll take with it, if they can sustain that over the course of, obviously they're expecting to make multiple seasons of this show.
Like Discovery.
Yeah. Well, I've Lost in Space.
Like Discovery. Lost in writing.
But I mean, this is a reboot, so it's always got an original that's, the prototype, whereas Star Trek Discovery was a great idea of getting a bunch of guys together who claim to be Star Trek fans and then just said, let's make a something else show. I don't know what you'd call it. Shit Discovery? Discovery shit? Dumb Discovery?
I'm really not sure how much of an influence Netflix has over some of these pieces, whether they just commission them or someone makes them and then pitches it and they buy it. But Discovery is a CBS
shit.
All access, all
Can't
areas
be
of
shitter?
shit.
Is that what it stands for? Can't be shitter?
You don't know whether because we see it here in Australia under Netflix. So
we're in Australia.
I imagine though, I think Netflix did do this as an original series, so maybe there's a little bit of better creative control around that product.
Couldn't
But
have worse, could
anyway,
you?
it's out in April
13th, I think it is. Yep. So that's only 6 weeks away.
I think we intend to, as
Nerds.
we will probably review it.
Like nerds.
I think we'll approach it as an episode by episode thing, unless of course it's really shit. In which course
Danger, Spooky, danger.
We'll just do an end of season rant and screen for 4 hours at a screen.
I seriously hope they surprise me. I constantly want to be surprised by television and movies. I am constantly let down. Not me trying to be a cynic or a contrarian or anything like this. There's a lot of good television out there, you know. So there is that capability out there. Whether they can do that with this, I mean, I'm always a bit worried because it does have source material. And you're always worried, well, how do they interpret that and how they reimagine that and how do they re-express that?
The teaser at least tells you that there's a family on their way to Alpha Centauri. They're in the Jupiter 2. They climb on board the Jupiter 2. There's an incident, which you imagine be a meteorite storm or something, and the robot says danger. There's elements there that pretty much are really incredibly familiar, and that gets the interest juices flowing for me.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is you can't really sort of do that. The original series went like 3 seasons.
Yeah, 3.
And every episode was largely self-contained.
There was because the first season they were pretty much stuck on that one planet, and they were trying to get off it. So
the other 2 seasons were largely
much it. The Petronium, meet the villain of the week, and
and there was some continuity in that they'd be marooned on the planet for a while, and then it would blow up and they'd lift off, and then they'd be marooned somewhere else. Right? So there was a little bit of continuity, but I mean, it was pretty much villain or issue of the week,
campy villain of the week.
And you can't do that.
Same as Batman.
You can't really do that now, which is now it's going to be a lot more arc-driven. I mean, the one thing I'm really curious about is Toby Stephens as John Robinson. I actually think Guy Williams, who played the original John Robinson, is a fucking brilliant leading man.
He was really good.
You know,
he scared the shit out of me as a kid. He was just that authoritarian figure off the scale. Yeah,
and you know, he had a lot of great moments when they let him play the leading man, where, you know, he's facing off against antagonists and that sort of thing, where you just thought, fuck, you know, this guy is up there with Captain Kirk. He's, you know, serious, he's intelligent, he's got bravado, he's got daring, he's willing to risk it all. And
he had that epic theme whenever he was lecturing Will. And
so he was just such a great character. I can see why they've cast Toby Stephens. I mean, you look at the movie, which was made in, 96 or 7 or whatever it was.
97, William Hurt.
Yeah, and I love William Hurt as an actor. I think he's great, but that was a really curious choice for John Robinson.
Curious film altogether.
Yeah, and it was totally a reinterpretation of that character, which moved away from John Robinson's leading man aspects and sort of made William Hurt's John Robinson more a cerebral character.
It was that classic, obsessed father, abandoned son, dad issue piece.
Yeah, but he just wasn't sort of William Hurt, you've never seen him in a...
He does that pained expression well. I think that's the only reason they
I was just going to say, but you've never seen him in an action movie like, a fucking Taken or something like Liam Neeson, who's got that ability to...
He was in that film, The Hurt Locker.
Jeez, cricket's chirping again. But whereas Guy Williams really had that. I mean, he played Zorro originally.
Yeah, he was an action
leading
man.
And when they let him do that, I mean, as the show goes on, Dr. Smith takes over more and more. But when they let him just shine, he really was a
great presence.
Brilliant hero. Heroic character. So I'm curious how they portray Toby Stephens. Like I said, Toby Stephens, I loved him in Black Sails, but in Black Sails he is a villain pretty much. Anti-hero, yeah. So I'm curious how that translates and how they use him. I'm just sort of worried sometimes they're going to use him a little bit too darkly, and he'll have to be redeemed by other supporting characters because there'll be too much machismo there driving his decision making, and that will constantly lead to their possible self-annihilation until he's educated better. But anyway, that's just me projecting. I don't want to project because just hope that this is good.
Yeah, look, I think they'll... I would imagine that this show will take elements of the Stowaway in Space / pilot episodes. They'll get into space, be lost, come across a derelict. Introduction to alien life. A similar plot to how even the film started. Then I think it'll get back to some serious sci-fi roots. I think it has to. You can't. You'll do elements of camp, but I think it'll be more of a serious reimagining of the show, which I don't think could be a bad thing.
I hope it tries to be fantastic in its application of discovery of science fiction principle. I mean, there's been since Star Trek came out.
You keep using that word though. I don't think you know what it means.
Star Trek.
Oh, hang on, wrong show.
Star Trek came out in the 60s. Next gen, which rebooted Star Trek, came out in the 80s. And since that, they've had a lot of clones of, ships going out, finding, unusual alien races and all that sort of stuff and dealing with them. That's been done. So I hope they find a new dimension to handling that, because otherwise, it's been done. So, and you can only survive the marquee of the original series for so long, because that's what's going to happen. People go, I'll watch it because I love the original series. And you'll watch it for a while, but it needs its own hook. And I just hope it actually does something fantastic where I just want to tune in every and go, let's see what you fucking got. And you just don't get that often with sci-fi now. Sci-fi, a lot of it is just what we've seen.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I've had so much of my childhood science fiction crushed lately. Not looking at anyone but you, JJ. I'm hopeful that I don't sit here and go through another franchise that I loved growing up get shit canned. I would love one of them to fucking hit the mark and be a good show. So I'm incredibly hopeful, and hopefully that reflects in our upcoming reviews.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. No last observations.
No, I imagine there'll be one more trailer in between. Though, to be honest, I'd probably leave it at this and make the reveal of the robot, which is probably what we're all keen to see. And West and Smith as actual fucking surprises when you actually watch the first episode.
I mean, that's the one thing if you look at something like whatever, Star Trek Discovery or whatever. I mean, look at the Star Trek Discovery ended that fucking first season like falling on the Enterprise. It's like, oh fucking really? You're trying to create your own identity, but you fall back on that to carry you.
And an Enterprise with a distress message as well.
And that has no relevance or context. It just throws it at you. So if you, for example, and this is what kills me about a lot of these fucking movies that are made now, it's like, we want to be our own thing. We don't want to rely on the past. And then you just fucking throw the past in there and you expect that to have cachet and carry over to bloody, today's viewers. I mean, like fucking Star Trek Into Darkness, they throw Khan in there. Khan only makes fucking sense if you know the original series. It doesn't make sense if you fucking have never seen the original series, so why would you use him? And it's just absurd that you even use that as a plot device, and Star Trek Discovery did that also. So I hope, this is just totally new and fresh, and, I hope it can have little homages to the original series, but I just hope it is something amazing.
I wouldn't expect to see Mr. Zumdish in this, doing the... I would hope to see Idak. The green girl, was her name? Athena?
Lorna.
Athea?
Lorna.
Lorna.
I think I've said it about 19 times. Oh. Pretty sure it's Lorna.
Oh, I don't think it was.
It could be Helen.
And but yeah, look, there could be subtle nods to that. You went back and redid that sort of Keeper episode and stuff like that. It's good science fiction. I mean, it's the good episodes. So you can do nods back to the show, but there's some really good, strong characters you can go back to.
Yep. I was actually going to talk about just really quickly the original Star Trek picture movie, the motion picture, where they encounter Vija and they're investigating and all that sort of shit. I actually think something like that would be a great seasonal arc for any sci-fi show where there's actually some sort of great mystery out there. They get embroiled in it, and over the space of the season, they actually have to go explore it, and there's conflict, and they have to resolve it, and on it goes. And I think that would be really cool. And something like Lost in Space with the Jupiter 2, you'd think that the premise is always you're going off the fucking space to colonize a new place for humans to live. It'd be good if they just went out there, and found out, oh shit, we thought space was empty, but it's full of shit. It's full of a lot of fucking people and full of aliens and empires and crap like that. So, yeah, I told you it was Athena.
I just look it up on Wiki. It's Athena.
That's what I told you.
Lorna. Who the fuck is Lorna?
I don't fucking know. Blame the chief.
I suppose
I'm channeling the chief.
Green grass, green lawn, Lorna.
We'll work it out.
Lawn green.
Anyway, I think that is it from us from Before the Jump. If you like what you hear, subscribe. If you don't, subscribe. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook.
Find us on the way to Alpha Centauri.
Yes. And you'll hear from us next time. See you later.
Danger! Danger! Spook Robinson.